You all, we are not licensed professionals. You know, we are just here on this roller coaster called life, trying to be better friends to one another, trying to be better human beings on this planet. If you're tuning in, we are not opting out of therapy. We are not advocating that you listen to us and not see someone who is licensed and trained to help you with day-to-day life on how to cope and deal. So we advocate for therapy a lot here. We believe that everyone has something to talk to somebody about. So, just like to make that disclaimer that we're just here giving our opinions and having discussions week by week. And we're hoping that, maybe you can find something useful, or if at least find a little humor in this terrible, terrible rock we call the world.
In other words, if you listen to our advice and you get popped in the mouth, don't at us.
Yeah, don't at me because you may get popped in the mouth again.
Oh, say, can you? Trump got the fuck arrested.
Did he?
Throw that nigga in jail.
Jail, please.
Yeah, no, he got indicted. But anyway, welcome to another episode of the Friendship University podcast. I just had to start off on that high note.
Okay.
We got to take our wins where we can get it.
Praise him.
So praise Jesus. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. My name is Miki. I'm joined by my big-haired co-host, Chris Dan. Today, your hair is very big today.
I'll take that. I usually do have my hair pulled back, unless I'm wearing wash and goes and stuff. And today's one of those days because had to put on for the girls while I was on camera. And yeah, I will probably be having my hair like this. Well, that's not true. I was going to say the rest of the summer, but as soon as I can, I'm getting braids.
Yeah, no, that's a lot of hair to have in summer. I don't know how I'm going to handle having dreads in summer. Like last summer, I was bald, so I don't know how it's going to...
Pin them to the side or something so they're not on your forehead. Oh, also be careful. Just a pro tip that I realized because I've had bangs. I've had a lot of hairstyles where hair is on my forehead. Be careful with your hair on your forehead because that grease will get into your skin and it can cause acne or like breakouts and stuff. So just like
good to know.
Make sure you're moisturizing or I know you take care of your skin, so washing your face and stuff.
Never had hair touching my face. I don't know how I'm gonna handle it. Like I had to wear a wig in some play in high school and having hair touch my back of my neck. I was like, what the fuck is this? It's awful. I don't know how people survive.
I never thought about that. I never thought about the fact that there are people out there who have never had hair on them, so it probably does feel weird. I've never had anything shorter than a bob, so I don't know what it's like to not have any hair touching any part of my body except my head. Can't
imagine. But we're here for another week of the Friendship University. Happy to be here. The sun is sunning. Like I said, daylight saving time is really giving me life. I have a new revival for energy. I'm gonna go back to the gym tomorrow, mind you. It's because my doctor told me I was fat.
He did not.
In a roundabout way, he did. In his own way, he said...
doctor way, he just said, hey, care about you much. I want you to be around.
Okay. Like a older black papa he is. He was like, you've gained weight.
I want to meet this doctor because you and our mutual friend go to him.
Oh, he'll get you right.
I may check him out,
But yeah, I knew you didn't ask me how I was doing, so I just kind of answered the question.
It's okay.
How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. I'm still tired, but
Ooh, I get it, girl.
'Tis a season. I am getting acclimated to like my new weeks. I've got like new things that have transpired. I moved out of my apartment. Well, actually, it was a house. Moved out of my house. Really sick about the fact that they're charging me what they're charging me. So, I couldn't get my grass cut right before I left.
Right.
Which I normally keep my grass cut. You know this. I usually have my lawn. But my lawn man ghosted me. Like, legit could not get in contact with him. I tried to get someone off of TaskRabbit. 2 TaskRabbit or Taskers, I think that's what they're called, canceled on me. I looked into like what it would cost to rent a lawnmower, and in my mind I was like, I just do not have the energy to cut my own grass. I've never cut grass before, and that's no shade, no tea, but I just didn't. I had to paint, I had to clean, I had to do all these other things. They charged me $150 for my lawn. And you seen how big my lawn was.
Your lawn was small, but I don't know if that's a normal price for a lawn mow. Honestly, I used to mow the lawn for my parents, and they did not pay me. So they're like, your payment is the fact that you have a roof over your head.
Your payment is the fact that this house is on the lawn in which you're mowing. No, but the person who used to come cut my grass, he used to cut my grass for $35. He would throw in the hedges when I needed them. Now, granted, yes, this is like a backyard. You know, kind of like a shady tree mechanic. There's someone who was just in the neighborhood. He was just doing it to get extra money. But even the taskers that I picked up were not that much. So
whoops.
I knew that the price would probably be egregious just because it's a property company. But when I saw $150, I was like, oh, go out there with a pair of scissors. I may call them. We'll see. I'm just so tired. And just happy to like be done with that process and like moving towards where I'm going next, that I'm like, I don't even know if I'm gonna do it. But they did that. It's fine. I had to pay this like huge down payment because the house required you to pay your first month's rent. And then based on your credit score, you had to pay rent. Now, my rent was not cheap, so my credit score was good, and my deposit was not that big, but I had to pay the first month's rent plus that.
Yeah, so there's a lot of move to places that don't have first month specials.
Well,
if you let them get my first month free, I'm not moving in.
I learned my lesson. The next place I move is gonna have $100 deposit, and I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want in that place because I just could not believe that's how much they charged me. But thank God that is coming out of my deposit, and I'm still gonna get a pretty good chunk of it back. So that's neither. They told me that everything else was fine, though.
That's good.
I did well.
But you put some home improvement on there too, so you know.
I did.
Honestly, they should be paying you.
They really should. I gave accent walls. I gave new mirrors. I did all kinds of stuff. I made sure no bugs could get in. I did pest control. So
yeah, no, they
the
should be paying
niggas
you.
is always just not grateful, but I'm good. I am happy that it's daylight savings time as well. The sun is shining. Really makes me feel like I have a lot more time in the day. And the only thing is I typically do get up early, and I am like a runner / jogger. So now I'm in that season where if I'm waking up at 6 o'clock, even 7, the sun's not quite up yet. And our mascot Loki is trying to, come and take over. I think he may have something to say to the people, but yeah, I'm good. I'm glad to be here.
Good. But yeah, so we can go ahead and hop into our discussion. But before we do so, just to give y'all the run through, if you don't know, now you know. Every Friday we come here for Friendship Friday, and we discuss the lost art, or hopefully the newly discovered art.
Yeah,
thanks to this podcast.
I love it.
Of maintaining friendships, all that great stuff. You're raggedy, I'm raggedy, y'all are raggedy. We're just raggedy together.
We try not to be raggedy, and a little bit less every week. I do want to, just before we hop into the conversation, I did want to shout out Issa Rae. I saw today that she's going to be in the new Barbie movie.
She's in Spider-Man too.
I saw that.
She's out here.
She is out there. She is President Barbie, and I know what Barbie and President mean as terms on their own. I don't know what President Barbie means together, but salute to the Commander-in-Chief.
I haven't seen the trailer. Are they playing as giant dolls, or are they playing as humans who act like Barbies?
No, they're Barbies. Like the trailer I watched today, and forgive me, I do not remember the main character's name who's playing the Barbie doll.
Margot Robbie.
Yes, and the guy. They were in a conversation, and she was like, "Okay, Ken. I'll see you later." He was like, "I should come in." And she was like, "Why?" And he was like, "Because I'm your boyfriend, and I should be coming in." And she was like, "To do what?" And in my mind, I was like, "Are they really about to like sexualize Barbie? Because they don't have anything."
I was about to say, I feel like they're about to do that weird thing where like, kids would like mash them together or whatever. But
they did it. He looked at her for a second. He was like, "Honestly, I don't know."
I love it. I haven't seen the trailer yet.
So it was cute. Issa Rae was in the trailer as she had her president sash on or whatever. that young lady, is her name Angel or Angela? Angela, whoever, the LSU basketball player. Girl, we stand with you. Keep pointing to that ring finger. Ain't nobody saying nothing to Beyonce when she said she should put a ring on and she was shaking her hand in the club. But yeah, they love to hate us. Keep doing your thing, girl. You're showing out. And
wait, was Beyonce engaged when
she was married?
Wow. So she said, all the single ladies, not me, you, put your hands up.
Well, the girl, so I know, sports ball. I don't know if you saw, but the young girl who plays for LSU basketball, trash talk is a part of the sports culture. So they do gestures, they do things. So she on the court pointed to her finger to the thing, insinuate like championship ring. That's what I'm assuming. I don't know for sure, but insinuate championship ring, and they just went in on this black girl, whole classless, ghetto.
I don't want to hear nothing.
And so they pulled up clips of white female athletes doing the same exact thing, and they've never said anything to them.
I don't want to hear shit.
So at LSU, I think is winning right now. So they are on. If they haven't won already, they are on the verge to winning the championship.
I think the championship was yesterday.
So maybe they won. I don't know.
Ambiguous third friend. They win?
Did they win?
They
okay.
win. Mm-hmm.
So shout out. That's why I wanted, because I thought I saw something, but I didn't do my research. So sorry. So shout out to you for bringing it home. And actually, I call that manifestation. I'm going to start pointing to the things that I want because, girl, you did the thing. Just like Angela Bassett.
About to point to the grave, okay?
No, we don't point to the grave. Unless it's Easter Sunday. And then I did see some stuff about Black China and Angela now. Shout out to you and on your journey of what you're doing to, get back to what you feel like is going to make you whole and make you the person that you feel like you were created to be. So I stand with you, praying for you, you and your family. Do your thing, girl.
Shout out to all the blacks.
All the blacks. Always rooting for...
Most
I can't
of the
even
blacks.
say that. Always rooting for most of the blacks. Always rooting for most of the blacks.
Some of y'all,
so...
Unfortunately... No, I'll leave it. I'll keep it to myself. I'll keep it to myself. It's fine.
Ain't kinfolk. That's all we got.
Anyway, but yeah. So shout out to all the most of the blacks.
Most of the blacks.
But yeah. So
I did also. I want to ask you.
What's up?
Do you have one highlight from your week last week?
That's so cute. Yeah, actually, so we, me, you, and our ambiguous third friend, we went to the park on Friday, Saturday, whatever day it was. Yeah, it was really nice outside, albeit, a hurricane. It was so fucking windy.
Katrina.
Hurricane,
bitch. Here comes the hurricane, bitch. Oh! Katrina.
But we went out to a park. We did a little bit of paint and sip. We brought some canvases out. I think you were like drawing. I did some painting. Mind you, I fucked up my painting like 600 times.
But you did the thing.
Yeah, eventually I was like, fuck the brushes. I'll just use my hand or whatever.
He was like out there, Picasso. Okay, I like it.
That's why my highlight. It was good to just hang out with some friends, just sit on a blanket. Like I said, it was nice outside. The wind was a little heavy, but it simmered down a little bit towards the end. Just nice to kind of get outside. I've been very much like in my box. And by box, I literally mean my 800 square foot box that is my apartment.
Yeah, I don't think we've been going out a lot.
No, I haven't been going to clubs. I haven't been dancing. I just haven't been in the mood to leave my house. I mean, now mind you, I have a very large reason not to leave now because I have a cat and a PS5. So why am I leaving?
I'm sure.
What reason do I have to leave this apartment? But no, it was nice to get outside. I'm looking forward to doing some more stuff. I actually decided to, well, I have to check the weather, but I was intending on going on a hike this weekend just to get out, get back into my normal flow of doing things. I mean, I'm not really like a let's go out every day, let's whatever. I'm not that kind of person. I'm still a homebody at the end of the day, but I would get out at least like once or twice
a week,
right?
Yeah,
Do something.
You usually were out on the weekends, at least for your hikes, like you said, or doing something.
Go to a show or something. Yeah. But that's gonna pick up in May. I'm gonna see Charlotte DeWitt.
Ooh,
insert. You know the one. Gonna see Deborah DeLuca. Both very big name females in the techno scene.
Yeah, you're going to New York for Deborah, right?
No, I was supposed to go to New York, but I didn't end up going because I was broke, and then other things were going on. But she's playing in Atlanta, funny enough, in May on my mom's birthday, and then Charlotte plays the week after my birthday. So we have a good May, a good birthday month. But side note, asterisk, you don't have a birthday month. You don't have a birthday week. You have a birthday. It's a day, one singular day. People will be like, "Oh, I'm celebrating all month. This is my birthday month." I'm like, "Girl, you were born on one day. You were not. Your mama was not in labor for 3-4 weeks. Like, you have a day. Get to it, and it's over. We're done."
What? My birthday tomorrow. No.
And you get one day.
You get one. I'll
And
say
your birthday's
this.
not tomorrow.
No, I say it's a joke. It's like this guy. He be for the whole month. He be like tapping on people. Guess what? My birthday tomorrow. Guess what? My birthday
If
tomorrow.
it means anything, I had to like really second guess. I was like, tomorrow? There's no fucking way it's tomorrow.
You should know for
I know
sure.
it's not. I was second guessing because you seem so confident. I was like, is it tomorrow?
No,
I don't think it's
there
tomorrow.
are some people. Here's the thing: if you want to do that, that's fine. What I do not want you to do is hold me accountable for celebrating you the entire month.
Okay. Like, I'll show up here and there, but I'm not about to do
right.
every single
Like,
thing you want me to do.
I have a friend who will do like a day or a week of activities, and what they'll do is specifically be like, whatever you can show, I'm doing this so that whatever you can show up to, you can, because sometimes people just can't do it on the day you designate. So they'll have a list of activities they're going to be doing, and like, okay, you can't make it Thursday or any other day, Friday, we'll be doing this. But yeah, don't hold me accountable for something. I ain't got no problem with you wanting to celebrate yourself. Another year is a blessing. So, do your thing. If you don't learn how to celebrate you can't accept or anticipate anybody else to know how to. But yeah, don't expect me to be out here like get cutting up the rug and jigging it up for a whole month. I don't even do that for myself.
That's my self-fulfilling prophecy because I don't celebrate my birthday. It's literally the worst day of my life. But I always get so upset, like, oh, no one cares about my birthday. Like, no one's celebrating with me. No one's A, B, C, and D. Now, reason being is because I always downplay my birthday. I'm always like, oh, it's just a day. Oh, whatever. Like, it's not that big of a deal. But then when the day comes, I'm like, nobody fucking cares about me. So this year I actually decided to host nothing crazy, a little birthday dinner with some friends.
I can't wait.
Just gonna be super casual. I was like, I guess I'll do something or whatever. But yeah, I'm excited for that.
Excellent. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm excited to celebrate with you. So
now there's a part of my brain that's like, what if no one shows up? Like,
yeah,
what
I'm
if
sure
the
you already
person
have some
who has, like, no
RSVPs. This probably won't. This probably is not going to ease your mind, and I know this is not going to happen to you because I'm sure you. If nobody else shows up, me and the mutual friend will be there. But I'm sure other people have RSVP. I did have a friend one year. This was a long time ago. I was out of the state in school, so I couldn't make. I RSVP but she got this really nice restaurant, like private area that she had to pay for, and she paid for like everybody's plate who RSVP, and nobody showed up.
I would kill myself.
It was
I would kill everyone who was invited, and I would kill myself.
I was actually very saddened. So the following weekend, I scrounged up money to fly back into town, and I took her out.
That is so sad. Whoever you are,
yeah.
Happy birthday to you. Celebrating you today.
Yeah, celebrate you on your birthday. I think her birthday actually was just passed a couple months ago.
Happy potential belated birthday.
Yeah.
That's really fucking shitty.
It was very crappy because I get people can't come, but don't RSVP.
Yes, and then don't show up. Right. Like,
That's
at least say, like, I
weird.
can't make it or something. Like, don't be
That's
like, oh, I'm going to be there.
very rude.
Right. And especially when you have to pay for it.
She prepaid for
I'm
everybody's
taking
plate.
all them bitches to court. Okay, they
Not
said
Mariah Carey
I'm taking all them
wasted
bitches for
my
court, wasting my
time.
fucking time.
It was disgusting. So I have been fortunate enough to. I'm not someone who necessarily doesn't make a big deal about their birthday. Like, I don't downplay it, but I always use that. I'm very reflective around that time, and I think I've said this before. So oftentimes I'm like in my own head and in myself, and just like, thinking about my last year around the sun and everything. But I've been lucky enough to have people who have pushed me out of my shell to celebrate myself, who have, done things for me and surprised me. I've tried to surprise you before, but you really are like, the last time you were like, no, I don't want to do anything for my birthday. I don't know. I'm just going to go visit my parents and blah, blah, blah. I was like, he really makes it impossible for you
Because
to
I'm like, why are we
surprise
celebrating this
him.
god awful day? I will say you and our mutual friend, we did a trip to Denver, which is, I mean, yes, it is white Wakanda, but I fucking love it.
Denver, that was
I love
fun.
Denver.
That was a really fun trip.
It's such a fun city to be in. But anyway, we saw so many fucking crazy things. But anyway, a lot of things were going on there. But anyway, you and our mutual ambiguous friend
that was a fun
surprised
trip.
me in the morning with a little cupcake and a happy birthday. I still have the video on my phone. I still watch it here and there because it makes me smile. So it's the little things. You know, if there's anything we can take out of this current moment we're in right now before we get into our actual segment is celebrate your friends. It's easy enough to buy a cupcake from Publix, show up and be like, happy birthday to you, blah, blah,
Okay,
blah, blah.
I've learned this. But people always try to be like, "Oh, I got to be this grandiose and do all these things," and like, who are you doing it for? Are you doing it for them? Or are you doing it for you?
Okay.
Like, just do what you can do.
Go buy a Kit Kat
'Cause
bar,
I
put a
even-
bow on it, and be like, I love you so much, happy birthday.
Because I wasn't even going to go on that trip at first.
Yeah, you weren't. I like that
something
girl.
I can't remember what. I think something financially was going on. I was trying to like pay something out. I don't know, but something told me like, listen, this is your friend. He doesn't really celebrate his birthday often. This is the one trip we're going through with, and we're playing. So I got my shit together, and I was like, I'm gonna come, and I'll be there, whatever. And then we did what we had to do, even though Tauruses are so. It's not just you. It's just Tauruses in general are very hard to surprise because
you know everything,
and you want to know everything.
We're like,
my mom is a Taurus, and she is just so hard to surprise. Not because she doesn't like surprises, but because she wants to know everything, and she wants things to be the way she wants them to be. So it's just kind of like,
can't confirm.
It's so much. So it's fine. I'm glad we got to. So we're going to celebrate this year. We're going to turn it up, and we'll circle back around to let you know whether we got a fight or it was a good night.
Hopefully it'll be a good night.
And I think it's going to be a good night. So we're here for another lesson. Welcome back to your weekly lesson. We're going to get this syllabus together for you all. One day.
Eventually.
We're the teacher who seems like the substitute teachers, but we actually are on retainer. Like we're teachers. We're teaching. We're there. We're the professors. We've got tenure, but we're still gathering our way. We need a teacher's aide. Is what we really need. But maybe we'll do a whole little what do you call those, internship or something? I don't know, for people who want to get into podcasting or whatever. Anyway, we're here. This week's lesson.
Internship, by the way.
We don't have to throw that out there yet.
They can get the less than $5 we have from our anchor account. I won't specify where that number is, but it is less than $5.
Listen, okay.
Please like and share this podcast, please. I'm really tired of working a job. I don't want to clock in anymore. I just want to make money in my sleep.
We're here. I have the goodness of our heart, but I do believe that we're here for a purpose, and that purpose.
My heart can only go so far without money. Okay.
If you let me finish, I was gonna say, purpose. Your gift will make room for you. So we're this is a passion of love and a labor of love right now, and I don't know anyone who doesn't put their money where their mouth is. So we put our time, we put our money, we put everything. We believe that we're supposed to be here, and I believe it'll pay off. Everything looks overnight until you see the behind the scenes. So everybody you see blowing up and be like, I never heard this person, never seen them, never done that. That's because they were out there doing their thing, and now it just takes one moment, one sunrise to change things for you. So we're here, and we're gonna be talking about. It's April. I don't know this time. I don't know. April Fool's Day could probably lead to this, but
I feel like you tried to make a bridge between two
I
things
tried.
that don't connect. You tried. I'll
we
give
talked
you a
about
B.
pranking, and I feel like it could lead to this. But today we're going to talk about fights with friends, and that's whatever you may take it as.
You really tried to connect
Arguments.
8 to 7. It wasn't.
Hey,
but we're here now.
If it's
though.
if it is in mathematics and we're in calculus, it could, because it could be an exponent, and then we could have all those
I ain't
things.
exponent nothing since I've graduated. Don't make no sense. Anyway, moving on. I ain't calculated the area of a circle ever. Anyway,
they done change foil too. It's a whole nother process.
I don't want to know.
My
I know
nieces and
PEMDAS.
nephews-
That's it.
What is PEMDAS?
Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
Oh yeah, please
Parentheses,
excuse my dear Aunt Sally.
equation, multiply. I don't fucking know.
Don't ask me.
Ain't used it. I'll tell you that. Ain't used it.
What I have used is TurboTax. That would have been lovely to learn how to do my taxes.
Wouldn't have been nice.
It would have been too much to ask.
Y'all need to stop using TurboTax. They're ripping you off. But anyway, but yes, we're talking about friends with
that's true.
fights with friends. This was a topic I had brought up, not because I had a fight with any of my friends recently, like everyone's all Gucci or whatever. But fun fact about the Friendship University podcast: before we released our very first episode, we did a test episode just to kind of see how it sounded. We've grown a lot since then. We've learned a lot since then.
That pilot may make its way one day. We'll
Maybe.
see. Maybe if we ever get a Patreon. I don't know.
It'll be right. We'll see. But we're basically gonna do a redux of that episode. Not exactly, but we did want to cover fights with friends because I think it's important to know how to properly engage in disagreements. Naturally, we're all human. It's expected to have disagreements. Maybe be best friends for 20 years, partners for life. Like, it's expected for people to butt heads eventually. I actually would find it weird if you were in a relationship of any kind, friendship, family, whatever, and you're like, oh yeah, we've never had an argument ever. I'd be like, okay,
Somebody's suppressing
something's
something.
suppressing. Someone isn't, like, it's not giving. So I think it's really important for especially adults, and not only adults, but like everyone, to understand like how to properly navigate arguments and disagreements, how to, voice their sides and, keep it respectful. So yeah, I think you had a question of the day for this, so we can go ahead and hop into that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, at what point in a fight do you say, or what is the like catalyst, the needle in the haystack to tell you like, I can't rock with you anymore as a friend? Like what point do you have to be driven to in a fight to say like, nah, this is not gonna happen, this is not gonna work?
Of course, the most obvious one would be physical, but no one's been dumb enough to ever put their hands on me.
I mean,
I'm not saying I'm the strongest. I'm not the strongest person in the world.
tallest man
I'm not. But I am
that I've seen.
very tall, and I am a thick boy. So no one's been dumb enough to put their hands on me ever. But of course, that would be my number one. Like, you touch me, like, unless it's a hug or a high five or whatever.
In any scenario, you
it's
feel
all
like
side.
it's
unless we in bed and we doing the freak. And you want to tap it a little bit, maybe, but outside of that,
some guys can fight and they'll get over it.
No, you put your hands on me, it's a wrap. I'm not gonna hit you. I won't hit you back, but I will exit stage left. Well, actually, it depends. It depends on how heated I am.
Fair.
If you hit me the right way, I might have to hit you back.
That's fair. That's
But
fair.
the more realistic one, until someone tries to hit me, which I wish you fucking would, is calling me out of my name, calling me a bitch, calling me the C word, calling me whatever the case may be. Like, some people might use it as like, oh, you're such an asshole. Like, that doesn't hold as much weight of like, you're a, whatever the case may be.
Nigga.
Right.
I've called you an asshole before.
Right. But
not in the heat of the
in
moment.
the heat of the moment, right. In the heat of the moment, calling
Jokingly.
me outside of my name, being disrespectful. I know in the heat of the moment, people say certain things that they may not want to have said. I'm not going to say they didn't mean it, because somewhere in their body they meant it because they said it.
They just didn't want to say it.
Right.
Yeah.
At that point, when it reached the level of disrespect, that's when I'm exiting stage left. That's when our friendship is over. Even if our friendship were to survive, it's going to take a little bit of healing for that to get back, because I'm like, oh, that's what you think of me. Okay, got it.
So it's going to shift the way you see them, period.
Because it makes me think about how they look at me. Like, oh, you think I'm a whatever, and I'm like, okay, so that came from somewhere.
Yeah,
like
that's
this,
fair.
whatever argument was we just had probably wasn't severe enough for you to explicit that. So you've been holding on to something, and this was just the moment it came out. And now I have to rethink, okay, how am I showing up in this relationship? Am I doing something that's causing you to make me feel this way, or causing you to feel this way? Or are you just, that kind of person who likes to take those deep shots and sting, or whatever the case may be?
Yeah.
So that's going to be my red line for those who listen to this podcast who are my friend. Call me out of my name, and I promise you will probably never hear from me again. Touch me, and you probably will never see the light of day again.
I can believe that.
But how about you?
The point where I have it's kind of layers for me. It would have either had to be in a continuous thing where we keep encountering the same issue and we're arguing about it, and not even on some like, because I use this for example. You and I, we keep encountering, I'm tardy and you're an untimely person. And I do my best. I think I've said this before, and I hold myself accountable because I said at the beginning of the year I was going to work on my timeliness, because I used to be an on-time person, and I am on time when the money is involved.
Listen, money is motivated, so you gotta do what you gotta do.
Your girl is there 5 minutes early, because to be early is to be on time. To be on time is to be late. But life be life, and man, I be doing the best I can.
To be honest, I kind of wish I was more late. I don't necessarily wish I was more late, but no.
I'm not lax though. I want to make it clear that it's not that I'm not aware. It's just stuff be happening.
That's
like
true.
I'm like, man.
There's a difference between you being late versus other people being late. Like, I wish I was the kind of late person who's like, oh, I'm just totally lax. I'll get there when I get there. My anxiety won't let me. My parents raised me on either you're 5 minutes early or you're late.
Well, that's
so I'm always perpetually early for everything.
You really are.
I don't even mean to do it. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna leave, late as possible time. I
I
still show up early. It doesn't make sense. I don't know how it keeps happening.
If you tell Malik to be at your house at a certain time, make sure you ready for him to be there 15 minutes early, because he will be there at the door 15 minutes before the time. Okay, if you're throwing a dinner party, make sure everything's out on the table, because then nigga gonna show up 15 minutes before the shit start. So I'm okay with that. But yeah, like it is, like even that between you and I'm doing the best I can, and we're both jackasses, so we are sarcastic. Yeah, we get into it.
I
but
give you shit. It's all in good fun, though.
Yeah. So outside of that, it has to be something that's like perpetual, where it's like a serious thing, where it's like I feel continuously disrespected. You're like disrespecting my space. You're disrespecting the people around me. Embarrassing. To doing things that are like not of my character, because your friends are in this essence, the people you keep around you are a part of your personality, and like a reflection of you. So it has to be something like that where we continuously are arguing. I would say physical. I think to completely walk away, I don't know. I'm gonna be honest. It would depend on the level of the physical altercation and where I am with that person. If I feel like it's something worth fighting for, or maybe I've never had an instance where me and this individual really got into it and they're going through something, right? And they're changing in front of me, and I see that they're changing. And because that happens, right? Like you see people, they go through things and it changes them. I saw this study, and my friend told me about it actually, and this is why I looked it up. It was a study that said trauma actually changes your cells on a molecular level. Like physically, when you go through a certain level of trauma, you change. You're never the same person again.
Love that for myself.
So people can change, and now, but that's subjective, right? So it's like some people become better, worse, victims, victors, different things. There are different levels to it, but you're just never the same person again. So I have seen someone who's gone through a certain level of trauma where they're not the same person again, and it was kind of like you're different. Like, not rocking with the person you are. And I've seen someone who's gone through trauma, and for a moment, they were shaky, but then they got to the level of I like to call 2.0. You become your 2.0 self. So,
girl, at this point, I'm on MP 17 at this point.
You're on version 7.2.
There's more of me than iOS is at this point.
You're a Rick and Morty. You on Rick and Morty?
I don't ask for this, but no, yeah, I agree. As someone who has experienced trauma in numerous different fashions, because the universe is like, let's give him more. Let's just see what he can handle. It definitely does change you. I have a question for you in regards to that you know, we're gonna circle back to the actual
Yeah.
disagreements with friends. But when it comes to seeing someone change before your eyes, at what point is it not your responsibility, but at what point do you feel like it's right to be like, hey, I'm noticing A, B, C, and D in you? Hell, it's even your responsibility to bring
Right.
it up.
I was going to say responsibility. I think if I'm going to use that term, the only time I'm going to say it's my responsibility is either A, when it directly involves me, or B, when I see some kind of detrimental characteristic evolving in you to where it's going to either harm you or someone else. And the only reason I say that it's my responsibility to say something, it's not saying that it's just my responsibility, because it's your responsibility and all the people who say they care about you, but it's a piece of my responsibility to be aware that sometimes you have to have tough conversations with the people you say you care about. And I'm a person who's very well versed with radical candor, and that's what I abide myself off of. So I'm going to have those difficult conversations because I care about you. I may very well know that may make me enemy number one in your eyes, but I would rather put that out there and let you know I see you, I see what's happening, versus you thinking nobody's out there or sees you, or versus you thinking that I don't care, me personally, because I don't know who's else having conversations with you. I'm not your savior, but I am your friend and I'm your accountability partner in that sense. So I think it's my responsibility to say that. So
If your friends aren't keeping you accountable, they're not your
you
friends.
got to. And so when I learned that, I started to look for, because I'm very much so a spiritual person, and God is my savior and Jesus is my savior and all these things, but I'm also a logical person and I like science. And when I saw the scientific study behind that, and it was multiple studies, I'll try to find them and maybe we can link them below, talking about how you change molecularly, like your brain matter changes and just different things like that. I was like, man, you don't even think about the fact that things like this can change people, because oftentimes people will say, well, this person went through this and they got through it, so why can't this person go through this? Everything that happens to us as individuals changes us differently.
Right.
Like that's what individuality means. We're different. We're not a monolith.
Yeah,
different.
I'm different.
Yeah, I'm different.
Pull up to the scene with my ceiling missing. Anyway,
Oh my God.
what a time to be alive. They don't make music like
Happy
this,
404 day, by the way.
Oof, happy 404 day. I don't know what the fuck that is. I know it's something to do with Atlanta. Is that the day the 404 area code was made?
No, well, not
Side note, I have a 404 area code per.
Boop. No, not the day, but that is the original Atlanta area code for.
I got an OG.
So if you
Okay.
have the 404 area code, you are OG.
You
When
6, 7,
area
8 bitches better
code,
pop your pussies
you
up.
706 bitches
Okay.
better take it back.
776.
Take it back to Florida.
Who are
Take
you?
it back to California. Take it back to Alabama. Okay, we're here. 404.
I'm pretty sure Alabama's like 236, isn't it? 404.
No, but if you move,
I'm not changing my number. I don't care. I'm keeping my
404
number.
is the original. So if
I've had the same number since my existence of having a cell phone. I'm not getting rid of it.
I'm not young enough to remember this, but I am young enough to know that there was a time. I'm not old enough to remember this, but I am old enough to remember there was a time where you didn't have area codes.
Really?
Yeah.
I might have been too young.
You
for
didn't
that.
have, well, I never grew up when you didn't have area codes, but I do remember my parents talking about how area codes. So that's
That when pages
how
existed?
did pages have area codes?
I don't know.
I don't even remember. I think
I thought
two
area codes
ways
were always a
did.
thing, if we're going to be honest.
No, it used to just be 7 digits. The first 3 and the last 4. And then you would, there were 800 numbers.
Right.
But they started, so 404 is the first area code for Atlanta. So the OGs.
So you would just type in the seven digits and that's it?
That's it. And they would call somebody.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I
learn
feel like
something
way
new.
before that, in like the 18 or 1700, whenever the rotary phone was introduced, I feel like it was less.
There was probably
digits
like
than
4 phones at that point, so that I had dialed 1, 2,
You
3,
used
or
to
4.
like,
They were like, oh, there's only 4 people to call, so
let me just.
okay, 4. That's it. I've always wondered, like, I'm sure there's always like a countless number combinations you can make, but I'm like, at what point do we run out of numbers? Like, what does that happen?
never. And
but people also like pass away and cancel their plans and stuff like that.
No,
so
but those numbers get. You know what? It's funny you bring that up. I feel like that maybe that's why they brought area codes in. They had to bring in more numbers.
So what happens when we run out of those? At
We
double
maybe
area
at-
codes? 404 678 7745 5543. Okay, like what are we doing?
8675309.
86. Oh my God! Wow.
I
called
don't
that
know.
number by the way when I was younger. I was like, "What is?"
Who picked up?
Nobody. It was just like an automated message. You know how back in the day they used to give their numbers in like
true.
songs. I think it was like what was it? A Chris Brown song. I think gave his number, and
Chris
you
Brown,
call it, and he
Usher.
basically like gave you like phone sex for like 3 seconds. Basically, I don't fucking know.
I'm not.
I think it was either Chris Brown or Usher when you were like, oh, what are them songs where you're like,
Brown, Usher. A lot of people gave their numbers out.
kiss me through the phone, kiss me through
Soldier
the
Boy.
phone.
Just sidebar. It's Atlanta Day. So I have to say this. And I'm not a fan. And you'll never hear me cape for Soldier Boy. But y'all out there trying to act like Soldier Boy did not have an impact when he was one of the first outside of like traditional hip hop, like the Dougie Fresh and all that, to have his own dance named after him.
Is he from
This
Atlanta?
nigga had y'all. Well, he was like claiming Atlanta, but the controversy is he didn't grow up in Atlanta. I think he
Interesting.
moved here. I don't know, but he had y'all niggas Ewing. So don't act.
Soldier. Oh yeah,
Soldier Boy tell him, and you was telling them that Soldier Boy told you. So don't.
You know why
act.
the world's fucked up now? Because we don't have songs that tell you how to dance no more.
We don't have the songs how to tell you how to dance.
Where the Cupid Shuffle at?
We
Where
don't
the
have
Superman
niggas
at?
dancing in the rain no more.
Soldier Boy, where it at?
You now watch me. You
Watch me, you. Okay, and I mean, not gonna talk.
Practice
I'm not gonna lie.
and-
Yes, the songs
watch
we
me
have now are
break you,
going
watch you
up.
bone.
I love Megan Thee Stallion's album. Happy to see she's back outside. Renaissance Queen. Can't wait to see you in like 4 months.
4 months?
4 months ish. But yeah, they don't. I'm trying to be on YouTube watching folks doing the Soldier Boy. That's what I'm trying to do. The
I'll
Dougie,
tell you,
okay?
I will say this. As someone who's older and I thought I had phased out, that little Uzi Vert, it brings me very much so joy that I just want
Buddy,
to rock.
yeah. I don't want to rock.
It's very fun. I can see why it's catching on because it is a very fun
It's a
song.
song that has like all of 3 lyrics, which who am I to talk? Techno has like sometimes no lyrics.
Nah,
but
he stole my look.
Bitch stole my look. But yeah. So moving back to the conversation in
Yes.
regards to disagreeing with friends. I wanted to highlight when it comes to disagreements with friends. There are some things I like to keep in mind when it happens. Of course, know your audience.
Yeah.
Some people react certain ways to certain things. You might be able to call out one friend for the BS and be like, oh, thanks for calling me out. I didn't realize I was doing that. Some people might be a little defensive. Some people will be more open to feedback. Some people will not. So understanding your audience, but that also coincides with understanding, I believe, communication styles.
Okay. I was about to ask, like,
Right.
do you, if they're standoffish, does that keep you from saying the problem?
No.
Okay.
Maybe back into my past. In my past, pre-therapy, pre-Michael, Miguel.
Oh, Miguel. We love you.
Also, I love how we call him Miguel when he is a whole ass white man.
I don't know why I made him Miguel.
Which is funny because like I wanted a black therapist, but at the time when I was looking, like all the therapists were booked up were black. I think this was like during Black Lives Matter. People were like, I should go take care of myself. So they were all booked up.
But
Michael he
has
does
been
support
doing
like
very
LGBT or
well.
whatever. Like
he's been doing very well.
has done a fantastic job. I actually need to schedule some time with him. But anyway, understanding the person's communication style and understanding who you're talking to is going to make things a lot easier when it comes to bringing up issues. Because there's a few ways I feel like arguments come up. Either it's like a mutual issue with each other, you have an issue with that person, they have an issue with you. So when it comes to you expressing issues with that person, understanding how they communicate. Are they more of a direct person? Like, can you just be like, hey, so-and-so, what you did, A, B, C, and D is fucked up, and I don't appreciate it. Is it more of like, okay, are they more, for lack of a better term, sensitive? Are they more standoffish? Like, you know, in those situations, I'll kind of factor in how I'm going to talk about it. So, example of someone who's a little bit more standoffish, maybe a little bit defensive. I will tend to use a little bit more cushiony words, opposed to be like, oh, what you did, and blah, 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 and you, ABC, you fucked me up, and I really don't appreciate it. I'll be like, hey, the other day you did this, and...
So a
know,
little less of your
little-
like sarcasm,
a
and
little
stuff,
less
but just,
direct.
like,
Right,
yeah,
a little bit
just
more
a
like
little
lead
more,
them into
yeah.
it, right? Because you got to like lower those walls. If someone has a bunch of walls up, and I'm not going to say who, I have someone very close in my life who is this way. You cannot give this person feedback of any kind because they will immediately go into turtle mode, ostrich mode, with the heads in the ground. They don't, I'm not listening. I'm not listening. So you have to lower those walls a little bit. Be what's I'm looking for? Open,
a little bit more compassion.
compassionate, open. There's another word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it right now. But you express like, hey, the other day you did this, and I see why you did it, and I get it, and I know you're going through A, B, C, and D, whatever the case may be. But, in the future, I would like if you did this, or if you didn't do that, or whatever the case may be. I think building that, like, bridge a little bit between the two of you where they're like, okay, they're not just attacking me. They're not, like, coming for me, like, come at it a more calm thing. But again, as I was saying, know your audience. Some people, such as you and I feel comfortable enough in our friendship at this point where I'm like, hey, girl, you're a raggedy fucking hoe, and this is how I feel, and you need to fix it. Some people, there are some people in my life I cannot do that with. I'm like,
fair.
it would fuck up our relationship. Now, tangent of that, do I think you need to accommodate for everyone's feelings? No, because at that point, you're putting everyone's feelings before yours. So, of course, that little caveat of like, if the only way to communicate this person that what they did or whatever you're disagreeing about bothers you is to be direct and not worry about their feelings, do it. Because either it's their feelings or yours at that point.
I think I just want to just really quickly, I think there's a level of maturity that takes place with the person who is approaching the person that they have a problem with to understand that you have to meet people where they are sometimes. And it's not me negating or coddling or anything to you. I just understand that maybe I need to extend a little bit more grace. Maybe I need to be a little bit softer. Maybe I need to, because the message is as important as the tone, and the timing of the message is as important of the message. So I think that what you're expressing is the person who's bringing it has to have the maturity to understand that.
Yeah, absolutely. It definitely takes a mature person to even talk about things that
because they
bothering
could be
them.
like,
Some people
"This is just who I am," and I just curse and bitch, blah 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 blah, and like the people. That's another conversation, but
Yeah, no, it takes maturity both for the person expressing their feelings, because I used to be the person, like, if you did something that bothered me or whatever, I would just shut up. I would be like, you know what, it is what it is, it's fine, it's not that big of a deal, like, why am I bringing it up? Unless it was a really big deal, I would be like, it's fine, I'll just get over it. But, it does take a lot of maturity for that person to be like, hey, maturity and like honestly vulnerability to be like, hey, you hurt me, or hey, I don't appreciate the thing you did or whatever. Now, so that is more of the you have a problem with someone else kind of thing. Now, there is a different form of arguments. I know there's like probably a bunch of versions of arguments, but there is the version of arguments where like that person's aware there's a problem and you're aware there's a problem and you're on opposing sides.
Oh, okay.
As we were saying earlier, what are some like cutoff points when those situations happen, like getting physical, calling each other out of their name, whatever the case may be. In those situations, you kind of have to, it is again kind of similar to the one before, you kind of have to gauge it where it's like, are we in a heated argument? Like, do we need time to separate? Like, hey, I see this is getting heated. Let me take a step back. I'll text you tomorrow or I'll call you next week.
Yeah.
Is it more of one of those like people who are like, no, I need a resolution today. I'm one of those people. I don't like having things like held over. I don't like having not resolutions. Like, we need to be on a good, solid place before I go to bed.
Can you respect someone who does need time to process stuff before they talk?
Now I can, yes. Before Miguel, absolutely fucking not. Because I also, I guess I can put, not blame, I don't want to use the word blame, but I had the idea in my head about relationships, maybe romantic or not, that's like, don't go to sleep angry at your partner. Don't go to sleep, right? Because I'm like, I don't want to build up, festering anger or resentment and stuff like that. And which,
That's fair.
Speaking transparently, was me. If, like I said, I would usually, close my mouth and not talk about it because I didn't want to disturb the peace, very much people pleaser mode, but I would also get equally more and more angry throughout me not talking about it. So
that
now
building up of resentment.
Right. So, next thing you know, like, oh, we're good. Next thing you know, I'm blowing up in your face like came us out of nowhere, right?
Okay, be like, why the fuck is this sock on the floor? Okay, the sock, though? You mad at the sock?
So similar to the other situation, you have to know your audience. There are some people who need time to process their emotions. And frankly, to be honest, I think everyone does. Yes, people can come to emotional conclusions or logical conclusions faster than some others, but I think it is very valuable, no matter who you are, no matter how you operate, to take a few moments, a 55 focus, take some time to yourself to process what you're feeling. Because in the moment, you might be feeling a certain way, but after it simmers, you'll probably feel a little bit better. Being transparent again, we had the conversation about tardiness today. I was over here cussing you out while I was playing Star Wars.
Had my face up there shooting.
I was swinging that lightsaber on Fallen Order like it was you. But now we're here. It's simmered. I feel 10 times different about it. It's not that big of a deal. So you have to know your audience. You have to know how you operate and understand that people don't operate the same way as you. It would be great if everyone operated the same way. It would be fantastic. Probably a lot less trauma and whatever in the world.
Because some people, then it would be all like, I don't know if I want to be around me all the time.
Fair. People are like, I want to date myself. I'm like, oh, no,
chill.
I'm pretty raggedy. But anyway.
I ain't raggedy, but like, chill.
You have to know your audience. You have to also understand the context of the argument you're having. Yeah. Some arguments are really do not need a lot of processing time. Like, we disagreed about what to have dinner about. Get over it. Order your Longhorns. If you don't order your Longhorn and call it a day, but there are some more serious arguments, maybe political or religious or whatever the case may be. Now, mind you, in today's society, I used to be the kind of, you can have friends with different political views. That is no longer possible in my brain. I'm sorry. We're at the point of no return. You cannot mix and mingle friends of two different political parties.
Go back. We do have a episode on talking about friends with different political views, and you can see both of our stances there. I don't remember the name of the episode, but we'll try to link it below.
It's too late.
It's something real weird.
It was a while ago, but we're at the point of no return. Maybe back in 2001 or whatever, you could do that. Or 2002, but 2023, either you're on this side or you're on that side.
You can get with this or you can get with that.
There is no in between. So it depends on the context of the argument. Some example of petty arguments I've had arguments over video games. I've had arguments over food. I've had arguments about travel, like things that ultimately are not world ending or that bad, but it got heated in the moment because humans have emotions and we get in our feelings and we say certain things and one thing leads to another, and next thing you know, your friendship of 7 years is dissolved because it led from video.
Did any of these, like what you now consider trivial, into like a ending or dissolvement of one of your friendships? Or like almost
very close, very close. I talked about it in our episode. Actually, I think it was our first episode about traveling with friends. Me and my friend had a disagreement. It wasn't necessarily a disagreement. It was a misunderstanding that led to a disagreement.
Yeah.
And that almost ended our friendship. Now, mind you, we're still friends.
Which is crazy because now we're like 15 years later, and y'all are here. What have you ever had a moment where there was a disagreement that like ended your friendships? Like it was done. I'm done.
Not friendships. Romantic relationships, yes. I've had romantic relationships end because of like disagreements or whatever. But friendships, no. Not. Let me phrase that. I have never personally had a relationship where it's like we had the argument and the argument was like the reason we are no longer friends. I have, however, had situations where maybe we had an argument and things got bumpy after that, and it was a slow break off kind of thing. So it wasn't like fuck,
immediate.
our friendship's over. Don't ever talk to me. It was more of like a
that was the
aftershock,
start.
right? It was the start of the catalyst of
What
making
like
that relationship.
happened there?
I'm trying to think of the most recent situation that happened. So the other problem with disagreements and arguments is because I spend so much time at my house and I don't talk to people that I don't have a lot of arguments anymore, which is great for my peace. But I guess the most recent disagreement I had.
It doesn't even have to be recent. Like, I guess what I'm asking is like.
Okay, I got it. So there was this girl I went to high school with. She was very close to my mom knew her mom. Like, we were close. We had a lot of same classes together. Like, I would go to her house. We would hang out. She'd go to my house. We'd hang out. We were just very like platonic friends. But this, of course, platonic because I'm homosexual. But anyway, there's a weird thing about that relationship where I don't remember a lot of it. Not because anything traumatic happened. It's just like a piece of my memory doesn't remember that. Because she would bring up stories that I do not remember. Like, oh, remember we went to that party? Remember we did this? I'm like, no, I really don't. Are you making that up? But anyway, that's not important. So during the Trump election in 2016, I think, maybe?
Yes.
When America went downhill.
I
think it was 2016.
It was 2016 because he was our president during the pandemic, and we see what happened with that. So.
Whatever it was.
It was 2016.
So they voted for Trump. They were Republican. I was a Democrat, forced to be a Democrat, because there was no one else to vote for. Actually, to be transparent, I'll be the first to tell you. When my first election was Trump's election, and because I was trying to be the social justice, fuck both the parties person, I voted for Gary Johnson. I'll be honest. I'll be the first one to admit it. I didn't know how politics work. I didn't know how the vote worked. I should have just voted for.
Just be honest.
For Hillary Clinton. Just being honest. I didn't know. It was my very first. I had just turned 18. I didn't just turn 18, but it was my first election, right?
Where you could vote.
I was like, fuck both of them, fuck crooked Hillary, fuck Trump. I'm voting for Gary. I didn't know.
It's not completely on you, as me and said mutual friend just watched a documentary about the ads and everything and how that works. But yes, I get it.
So yeah, they voted for Trump. I voted for Gary, but I digress. The reason it became more of a disagreement is because they were fully in the Trump wheel, but they would kind of formulate it in a way of like, oh, he's a businessman. He's going to put America back on the right track. Like, I'm not racist. I'm not homophobic. Like, I just think Trump's going to be a good president for America. Like, he'll get us back on financial freedom because we're coming out of the recession. A lot of people wanted to get the economy back to normal. I mean, mind you, Obama did a lot of that head work for him, but.
And how about to say, like, where were you trying to get back to? We were
children.
Yeah.
Children. But anyway, like I said, Obama did a lot of that
for him. And we were
good.
Like, we weren't A1, but we were not post-pandemic.
Right.
Niggas had jobs and niggas was making money.
Which, I mean, look, I don't know enough about politics to give anyone their roses. Yes, the unemployment rate went down a lot when Trump was president. Good. I don't know who's to blame for that or who was to congratulate for that. If it's Trump, I'll give you your 0.5 of a fifth 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 of a rose. Thanks for that, I guess. But anyway,
they counted unemployment benefits too, but
right. But it was. Being both a black man and a homosexual man, it was weird. Yeah. It was concerning for me to have Trump as a president, and it still is. Absolutely. Even though he's not the president anymore, his impact is still very alive and well. So it was like, I see where you're coming from as far as like, oh, the economy, oh, get back to America first, oh,
because that's what politics are. I look out for myself,
and it was our disagreements started to come into a play where it was like, I know where you're like, I was at least conscious enough, or whatever you want to use, to look at it from her point of view. Be like, okay, I get what you're saying. Unemployment's been shitty. Maybe your parents had problems or blah, 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 whatever. I don't know enough about politics to really put a good staple on it. But at the same time, the person you're voting for is actively fucking me over as a human being. And
you just knew the morality of what they were saying went against who you were as a person. As
a actual human being. I was like, I am a gay black individual in America. Like, voting this man in is going to make my life worse. And, they were like, oh, no, he's not that way. Either he's not, he's a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. there was a lot of that going on, and we got into it on Facebook of all fucking places.
Not the Book of Faces.
The Book of Face before it was Meta or whatever the fuck they call it. Is Facebook still called Facebook or is it called Meta?
I don't know. I'm not on Facebook,
matter.
but I think the logo is still the F.
Okay, well, whatever the lizard man made. So that was kind of one of the situations where it's like, I really cared about this person. We grew up together. As far as grow up together, I mean, like from elementary school to like graduating.
I mean,
cared about this person. Allegedly, we had all these amazing memories together that I don't remember, which is crazy
she was
because
trying to plant memories in your head so you were over
had to have been. But the weird thing is, like, my mom remembered those memories, and so did her mother. So they've had to have happened. Maybe there was something traumatic that happened that my memory was like, shut off, turn it off.
Had to be something.
I should probably talk to Mike about that. But anyway, there's a lot of my childhood I remember.
Unlock something. There's a secret memory there.
But I remember vividly. He got elected. She was cheerful and happy, and I was not. On Facebook, back when you put everything on Facebook, honestly, you're young, you're 18, everything goes on Facebook. For it to be honest, whatever the fuck.
Listen, you don't have to tell me. I'm from the age where we were talking in third person. It was Kristen is blah, 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 blah.
You log in to change your status, you go in,
why?
Put your you take care of your Farmville, which side note, Grandma, I love you so much, but why the hell were you messing me about fucking Farmville at 4 a.m.? Go to bed, girl. Go to sleep.
She did. She went to sleep at
5.
7 or 6 and woke up at 4, and she had to check on her farm.
She had to tend her tulips.
Sidebar: as someone who was vividly and avidly against Farmville, ask me about Animal Crossing.
Same thing. Same fucking thing.
Love it. 2020 would never would have made it without you.
My grandmother was off the rails. I love her so much, but she used to mess because I used to go to school. Unfortunately, I don't know why. I guess because you had to tend to the farm after work or whatever, or after school. But Southern school starts super early. Like I had to be up before the sun rose most days. My school started at 7 a.m. That's disgusting. My brain doesn't turn on until 10. Anyway, I digress. B's get degrees, kids. Don't forget that. Actually, sorry. C's get degrees.
I was going to say
honest.
you did better, but no. And I'm not saying commercial break. There's no pressure. Do the best that you can, but give it your all. Okay. Yes, C's do get degrees. But A's get your scholarships. You get your degree as easy as possible. Walk out. A's get your scholarships. You don't want to be in debt.
Oh yeah, that as well. So maybe do like a solid B's. B's get degrees. A few A's thrown in there so you can get your hope. But anyway, or like is hope still scholarship a thing still? I
believe so.
America's so broke. Who fucking knows? But anyway, so that was the first situation where it's like I actively care about this person. Like I went to her graduation party, she went to mine. Like we knew each other very well. We knew each other's families. She's been over for dinner. I've been to her place, and it was one of those things where it's like, wow, this person doesn't have my best interest at heart. They might care about me to some extent or another, but their moral beliefs are completely contradicting to who I am as a person. Not even just my morals, but like. If I was a white gay man, I probably also felt the same way to some degree. I'd be like, girl, this man's going to take away my rights to do anything. So we got into a little bit of an argument at first it started on Facebook, but of course I went to Facebook DMs. And she's like, you're not understanding, you're being closed-minded, blah, blah, blah. Like, give him a chance. And I'm like, girl, you don't know what it's like to be a black person in America. Like, you don't get what it's like to be nor black or gay, for that matter. You're a straight, cis white woman. So that was definitely one of those situations where I realized that, yes, I may care about this person. I still do to some degree. I still think about this person here and there. I'm like, I hope they're doing okay. Do I agree with everything they agree with? No, but I don't actively wish that they had harm on them.
Yeah, and you don't have to actively hate someone in order to stop being friends. To step away,
right. So we dissolved that relationship, or more so I dissolved it. Mind you, I also dissolved my Facebook, so we didn't have a chance to talk anymore. But
bitch, we're done.
We're done. So that was probably the first situation I can think of that an actual relationship ended because of disagreements / different points of view. Like I talked about in our travel episode, I got very close to my very best friend in the world. I mean, no offense to my best friend sitting next to me. I just known this friend since I was all of 8 years old or whatever. I'm not even. So yeah, that was probably one of the the situation I can think of that comes to mind now is a situation I regret. No, I think I did what was right for me, and come to now we've seen where Trump's presidency went. Probably was for the best that we dissolve things.
Okay, what you gotta say now, girl?
Right, probably
the same thing.
If it means anything, I did some Instagram stalking. She's still very much right there. She's still right
Probably the same thing. They don't change.
They don't change. So I did what was right for me. I don't regret it. Does it suck? It did suck in the moment. I was like, wow, I just lost someone I grew up with. Like, that's my friend. Like, that fucking sucks. But something I always kind of lean back on, because it's always true. I am a little less spiritual than Christian. Them. But also you as well, Kristen.
I'm nobody's savior. Just let you know. No, but nobody's Holy Ghost Jr. Just want to put that out there.
I very much am the idea of one door closes, like 10 more open. I've had relationships end, I've had jobs end, where it's like, I'm down, I'm sad, whatever. Next thing you know, something bright and better comes right through.
You really do be going up.
So one door closes, and that door may be closed for a while. I'm not going to give you a timeline on how long that door going to be closed. Don't at us talking about, use that door to be closed for 2 weeks. That door might be closed, but I promise you another door will open that is going to bring you to a place you are much happier.
If you hold on.
I think about it, if I did stay friends with that person and just sucked it up, I probably wouldn't know you both. I probably would never have met you guys. I probably would still be right in bumblefuck redneck nowhere Georgia, doing one bumblefuck redfuck whatever the fuck people do in fucking redneck Ville, Georgia.
I can't wait to go visit your parents.
Ooh, I don't know why my parents decided to move from fucking Long Island we moved from Harlem to Brooklyn. No, Harlem to Queens, Queens to Long Island to Loganville, Georgia. That don't even sound right. Logan? Who is Logan? Who is Logan? Who is Logan? I don't even know why.
Why does he have a Ville?
Why does he have a Ville?
Is he a Sim?
I'm pretty sure he was like a slave owner. Fucking house. But anyway.
I
but how about you?
That.
What do you have any situations where you've had a relationship end because of an argument, disagreement, differing points of view, whatever the case may be?
Maybe not different points of view. I think there's something that you brought up about how people will, or you used to like hold it in and different things like that, and then just like keep, and then it just bubbles up. For me, my experience is a lot of the arguments that I've got in, whether I'm the initiator or the target, is because someone withheld something for so long that it just bubbled up. So, for example, someone who is still my best friend today, like day one, ride or die. The first and one of the only arguments we've ever had was because something bubbled up that they didn't tell me about that angered them. And they didn't know how to tell me because they didn't understand that friends can have disagreements just like significant others, just like family members. Everyone's human. It is impractical to think that you will agree with every single thing that someone says every single time. And disagreeing doesn't necessarily mean arguments per se, but you cannot expect that someone's going to say something or do something that doesn't upset you. And so that happened. I've only had a few instances where I have come to the realization that I'm having the same argument. One being a friend that I had for a very long time, and I realized like I'm really in a carousel right now. Like I'm having the same argument about the same thing. And it wasn't even a situation of like they wronged me. They didn't sleep with my significant other. They didn't steal no money from me. They didn't shoot my dog. They didn't run over my mom. They didn't do any of those things. It was just I'm realizing we're having the same discussion, the same. I'm like, you're not hearing me.
Right, time over time, right?
And I can't do anything else. And that was like a 15-year relationship that I walked away from, which was very big for me at the time because
sounds like a lot.
It was tough. You have to understand that like people talk about relationships ending and you're like in turmoil, and there's a mourning process that happens with anything that you thought was going to happen. You thought these people were going to go somewhere with you. They were going to go to XYZ into infinity and beyond with you. And they're not. So you have to give yourself the grace to understand that, yes, you thought this is not what it is, and then you move on. I think the fear of that realization is what keeps people in those relationships. That's physical, romantic, all kinds of stuff, family, all kinds of things, but that's another conversation. As far as like reaching a point where it was a build up, not a build up, because that was the build up, but reaching a point where I felt like I was so wronged, and it was just kind of like one of those walk away periods where, because for me, I'm a grace-filled person. Like, I'm going to try to see where you are. I'm going to try to understand what's happening. That could be the like borderline counselor in me or whatever. But I'm going to just try to understand who you are, what you're going through, what's happening, before I kind of try to like analyze what I'm doing, what's happening. But there was one instance where there was someone who made it so hard for me to break down the barriers that you talked about. I was just like, you have to understand that you are only responsible for what you can do. So you are not an axeman. You don't work in a well. You don't work in the mines. You're not a coal miner. You're not chipping away at stone. If it gets to a point where you just feel like I have done to the exceedingly abundantly what I could do, I gotta move. Cause some people will. I learned this from this individual. Some people will push you. Some people will say, "How far will you go to get to me?" I'm testing you.
Test your loyalty or
I'm
whatever.
testing your loyalty.
Girl, the way I will block you on Instagram and never talk to you ever again. Like, let's be for real. Like, let's keep it a buck.
Why?
Let's keep it a buck.
And you have to go back into your mind and say, why would this person test me? What makes them think that they have to test anybody, let alone me?
Who gives you the right?
Who gives you the right? Okay, you want to test. You're clearly not prepared to be in any kind of relationship with anybody. Friendship, romantic, anything. You need to heal.
Right.
So.
Right, where they'll keep pushing the envelope.
They'll put their
heels in their toes like, oh, you're going to meet me where I am. Show me you care because you need to meet me where I am. Or whatever.
The niggles who tell you, prove me that you love me. When you have done, and this is not to say, because some of y'all niggas out there are terrible and you ain't did nothing to make it seem like you like them at all, let alone love them. But I'm talking to the people who know, like, you are there. You showing up as your authentic self. You're showing up as who you are. You're committed. You're compassionate. You're open. You're accountable. Like, those people who keep pushing you to tell you, like, prove to me you love me. And if you love me, you'll do this. And if you love me, you'll say this. And if you love... Well, girl, I can't be... The people who put you on a pedestal are setting you up for fail. You're period. Like, you cannot... Pedestals are not something you can live up to, period. Nobody can live up to the pedestal of a throne. So if someone is putting you at the throne and say, well, prove to me this and prove to me that and do this and do this and do that, I'm human. I'm going to fail you every time. I'm going to do something that's going to make you upset. It's going to make you angry. You ain't going to talk to me for a little bit. You're going to be mad. You're going to think I could have done more. Like...
This is what y'all have for having expectations of people. Let people be people. Let people be human. Like, you can't expect your friend, your partner to always agree with you. You can't expect them to always fulfill all your needs. You can't expect them to always be on your side. Right. Especially if you don't communicate. If you can't tell them how you're feeling, like, what am I supposed to do about that? Yeah. But you can't expect anybody, partner, friend, family member, parent, child, to always agree with you and always be in your corner and always be like, oh, yeah, I'm by your side all the time. Yes, in a weird, fucked up world, maybe that would be awesome. Maybe. But people are people. Let people be people. Let people mess up.
Let people have mistakes. Let people, and you have to gauge what that mistake means to you. So let's say, for instance, you have the situation where you have brought up a situation where this agitates me or this offends me, and someone keeps doing it. Mm-hmm. That's one thing versus like,
I did it one time and you blew
I did it one time and now you're telling me you should have known that was something that I wouldn't have liked.
Or even if you do it more than once, unless you communicate that you are upset or whatever that person's doing is, causing you whatever feeling, you really can't hold it against them unless it's something egregious, like, they keep punching me in the face, then they probably should know they should be doing that.
Or they keep bringing people up, like, okay, there's a difference between somebody being like, let's go out to eat, and they don't tell you where, and y'all go to a sushi restaurant. You should have known I didn't like sushi. And there are other things on the menu versus like them being like, oh, let's have a game night at your house, and then they bring in 17 goon squads into your house, and they know you don't like guns. You don't like
people.
You
don't like people in your house.
You don't like illegal substances.
You like your house clean. So, yeah,
That's different.
That's different. There's certain situations where, like, you can just use context clues. Like, so-and-so probably would not like if I did that. But there are times where you just don't know. You don't know unless it's been communicated to you. I've had situations where, like, I've been upset about something. And I would communicate to that person. They're like, oh, I had no idea. Like, you should have told me sooner.
Yeah, that's fair.
Whatever the case may be. Now, mind you, I tend to quell a lot of my emotions, and not in a sense of like downplaying them, but I'm usually a little bit more conscious of like, okay, I'm probably a little bit more angry than I should be. I should probably relax a little bit before I talk about it. Again, thank you, Miguel, which is also again funny because he is a whole ass bona fide Caucasian.
I don't know. I can't stop calling him Miguel now. I'm here.
He is anything but a red bone.
I know.
Everything but red bone.
Calling him that.
Anyway,
Michael.
Anyway, so I agree. You definitely, it takes. There's two sides of it. Mm-hmm. Like we talked about earlier, disagreements and arguments and whatever the case may be are natural parts of having a relationship with humans.
Absolutely.
Hell, I be beefing with my cat. He can't even talk English. He be meowing. I be
you be going back and forth with him, but he ain't going back and forth with you.
We be beefing. I think it's natural for all living creatures to have some disagreements to some extent or another. Like, for example, the cat, he bite me, I get annoyed, I bite him back, and we beefing. If we did not
disagree, we would literally live in a utopia, and clearly we do not. We don't live in a utopia.
Could you imagine if, like, all our politicians were on the same page? That would be... Okay, I would say it'd be incredible. It depends on what page they're on. If they're on the page of goodness, that would be amazing.
Everybody talks about the utopia, but nobody talks about what the utopia would look like. Because my version of a utopia looks different from your version of a utopia.
Right.
So everybody's like, oh, we could just have all this. You don't understand utopia is synonymous with what. That's why there's no universal meaning for morality. Because morality is different wherever you go.
Exactly.
But yes, it's not. There's no one size fits all for if you're having disagreements with your friends. We said the physical or whatever. Have you ever had physical conversation with your friends?
Kinda. So, if you had, we might release that episode one day, but I talked about it in our first non-released episode. I had a friend in high school. Actually, before I even get to that point. I remember that. So, let me tell you. I was a bike boy. I loved my bike so much. And I don't mean like a motorcycle.
What's called Fast and Furious.
I mean a pedal bike. I had a Mongoose something.
Yes, I remember.
Loved my bike so much. I don't know
that mongooses are rich.
Anyway, so I had my mongoose bike. It was all black, had some nice wheels on it. Like, I loved my bike. Every day after school, I was on my bike. I was going outside riding my bike. I like video games, but like I was more of a video games when it was like cold or like dark outside or like raining. But like if I could do anything after school, it was ride my freaking bike. So me and my friend at the time, we were bike riding friends. Like, I would ride my bike, he would ride his bike. We would be out here, in normal children fashion. Yeah. Our bikes are motorcycles, or our bikes are the bat cycle or whatever. So like that's when the Dark Knight came out as well. So when Batman has his little Batmobile car thing, not boat. Jesus Christ!
Is that the
motorcycle?
On the side? Oh,
you know the one that came out of the Batmobile.
Yeah,
You're
we
right.
used to come out of the back.
Why am I? I don't know what it's called. It's called the Bat Pod. I'm a fucking nerd. I was trying to play it off like I didn't know. It's called the Bat Pod. Batman's Bat Cycle in the Dark Knight. I love that thing, and in my mind, I was riding that Bat Pod. I would be lowing down on the thing. I'd be like
not going down hills.
Aerodynamic, right? Okay, so one day, me and my friend were riding bikes, we were doing this thing where we were trying to make our back wheels like drift a little bit. Like we would come to the end of the hill and do like a little drift because it was, we're fucking 14 or whatever, who fucking knows. So it was his turn to do it. He was coming down the hill super fast. He did his little thing, but his little thing ended up having him run into the back of my bike. I was fine. I wasn't hurt.
Okay.
I was fine.
Did you fly off the bike?
No. I was perfectly fine. Like I was still on the bike.
Okay.
But he bent the ever-living shit out of my back wheel. The bike was gone. There was nothing. I mean, I could have replaced a tire, but, and even at that point in time, very mellow-headed, I was like, who's going to pay for this? Like, you just go talk to your mom because I need my bike
like
fixed.
How are you thinking about that as a freaking teenager?
Because my brain, I was just like, it was a mistake. I don't think he didn't do it on purpose. I do not think he did it on purpose. Right. But his reaction to it did piss me off. He's like, I'm not paying for your bike. You should have been out of the way. I wasn't in the fucking way. You just don't know how to fucking ride a bike or whatever. I was very much out of the way. So he was like, I'm not paying for it. Fix it yourself.
Wow.
My mom's not paying for it. And I was like,
wow.
No, you're going to fix my fucking wheel. Because you broke it, you hit it, and he was like, double down on it. I'm not paying for shit. Go buy a new bike, whatever. So I had to whoop his ass. Punched him in the nose one time, and he started crying and took his ass home. I'm not sorry to you. Actually, I'm still upset about that bike. I still wish I had that bike. Even if I can't fit on the bike, I wish the bike was here because I love that bike so fucking much.
You would have passed it down to Loki.
I would have passed it down to Loki because I'm not having kids. So that was a situation where it has got physical. He didn't touch me. And maybe I shouldn't have hit him. Maybe I shouldn't have. But it was in the heat of the moment. I was like, you know what?
So it's one of the situation where you said
I was in the wrong. I was definitely in the wrong. I shouldn't have hit him.
But that was his catalyst. You to put your hands on me. Now we done.
And
you were upset?
I was upset. His mom paid for a new bike though. I know that well.
You got a new
it wasn't nearly as nice as my other one, but it was perfectly fine still. It was still a mongoose. But anyway, no, that was one of the situations where like I got physical. Mind you, like I said, being 14, pre-therapy, pre-everything, pre-growth, pre-frontal cortex, pre-common sense, pre-everything. So, of course, my initial reaction was like, beat his ass.
Not you coming from New York and have aggression.
I was like, you know what? Let me kill him. Not there now. I've grown so much. I would never put my hands on anybody unless they put their hands on me first. Even though that's not true. There are a select 3 people on this planet I can think of. If I saw them, it would be on site. Donald Trump is one of them. I would beat the ever-living brakes off that motherfucker if I ever saw him in real life. But anyway, I digress. Implying the Secret Service wouldn't kill me before I do that. But anyway,
who's gonna get it? Because
side note, do you know the presidents? I think they get Secret Service for life.
Of their life.
That's insane.
Yep.
That's wild.
It's wild that we pay for it.
Where's my Secret Service? I have quit so many jobs. Where's my Secret Service?
Because the jobs don't give a fuck.
So where's my Secret Service? I want to fucking know.
No.
But yeah, so that situation where it got physical, and as I said earlier, physicality is a point where there's no point in return. Even if you are the one who initiated it.
I was about to say, you have proven that on both ends.
Right.
Even if I initiate or you initiate, we're done.
Even looking back on it, like I'm not gonna say I'm ashamed of it because I'm not, because you shouldn't have fucked up my bike, but should have put my hands on him. And I can see why, our relationship dissolved after that, because like that is a whole nother level of like disrespect. Like you were actively trying to hurt me. Now, mind you,
with a black eye.
You deserved it. But anyway, because he was an asshole about it too. It wasn't like, oh, I'm sorry. He didn't apologize. He was just like, right. He was just an asshole about the entire thing. Right. We'll see about that. We'll see what your mom's paying for, which is probably a new fucking nose. But anyway, hope you're doing okay, I guess.
Nah,
I've grown.
nah, B.
I hope you're, I don't fucking know.
Nah,
it
B.
doesn't matter. I think you have like 7 children
Nah,
at
B.
this point. But anyway, so yeah, definitely physicality is a point of no return in my opinion when it comes to any kind of arguments at all, period, the end. Like even my friend I was talking about earlier about who was a Trump supporter, in a weird universe where maybe they come to their senses or whatever, they're like, oh, I shouldn't have did that. I would be willing to restart that friendship with a little caution. Okay. I would definitely approach it a little differently, but I would keep an open mind. Like, I would be open to that. But once you cross that bridge of either calling me out of my name or you touch me, or hell, if I touch you, it's a wrap. There's no point in coming back at all.
That's fair. Okay. Well, yeah. I would say, for me, yes, physical to a certain degree. Yes, I have had fights with friends. Not physical, just one physical fight. But outside of that, it just depends if we're circling around to the same argument. Disagreements are a part of nature. Like, you just cannot anticipate someone always agreeing with what you say. And you have to take into account what's happening. So, what's this disagreement about? You even said, like, I've looked back on it and they were trivial. Like, we had these trivial arguments about whatever was happening. This person was here. And there's deeper meanings behind that. Those things that happen for sure. But you can only handle what you can handle. So just think about what it has to do and who this person holds weight for you. Mm-hmm. Friendship breakups, I can argue, are as tough as romantic breakups.
Absolutely.
And this is coming from someone who has had to do a friendship breakup that was significant in my life. So I know it's tough. You thinking about this person who was going to be there for you, who is this person for you, who has your back, who would never do these things. And I'm adverse to say it because the truth of the matter is we use terms like this person would never, but that's not true. It's not true. We don't know.
There's some universe where they could.
A universe, or we don't know what someone could be pushed to. We talked about how trauma changes you on a molecular level. Like, you just don't know what can happen. So you make decisions and you do things and you think that this person's going to say the same. And not necessarily because you stayed the same, because even Hove said, you think I've worked this hard to say the same. Like, no, nobody works hard to be the same person that they are before they worked hard. But you have to be aware of people changing and things happening. And just really, like, what I've learned, I'll say this, and this will be my closing quote or whatever. I've learned that a lot of things, if I cannot point back to me being angry or me being the cause of the conversation, it has nothing to do with me. Mm-hmm. So sometimes people will do things that disappoint you. They will do things that make you angry. They will do things that really make you question almost their presence in your life. And that's the extreme, questioning somebody's presence in your life. But you questioning someone's anger, you questioning someone's actions does not constitute the fact that y'all can't move past that. Disagreements happen, And again, I say this as someone who's going through disagreements we've gotten through, disagreements we haven't gotten through. Just understanding that do not expect your friends to be any different than any relationship you have in your life. Period.
Honestly, a relationship is just a friendship with sex.
That's all it really is.
Potentially shared finances.
And potentially like shared common spaces.
Right. That's really
finances.
At their core, they're still just friendships with like a little bit more physical intimacy.
It's a little bit more
and to
intimacy.
be honest, some of you freak hoes be fucking your friends, so it's really no different. I mean,
and that's friends benefits in this.
But anyway, no, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. You know, it's natural. That's one thing we want to nail down in this episode. It is natural to disagree with your friends.
Yeah.
Just have a disagreement, an argument, whatever the case may be, depending on the argument. Doesn't mean your friendship is invalid. Doesn't mean they don't love you. Doesn't mean you don't love them. Doesn't mean that a friendship is broken or that it was fundamentally flawed in its, you know,
because people
nature.
look to their best friends to be like the safe spaces, especially a lot of times if they argue in other realms. And when they have a disagreement with their best friend, it's like, how could you?
You're supposed to be the only one.
What?
How is
I
this
can't
happening?
have another opinion, girl.
If you want people who are going to be just like you should search that out and just expect. Just know what that comes with. That comes with people who aren't going to hold you accountable. That's going to people who aren't going to call you out for your bullshit. There are going to be people who aren't going to help you grow. There are going to be people who, I'm not going to say take advantage of you, whatever. If you just seek for people who are content where they are sitting at and don't look to grow, they, you know, always agree with you. You have a yes man. If you want a yes man, knock yourself out. Find yourself a yes man. But understand that does come with a caveat of a lot of things. It is not always green on the other side. Yeah. Most, if not all, your growth comes from challenging or difficult experiences. May it be a life event or an argument or a disagreement or whatever. I've grown a tremendous amount by being an extension of being friends with you and our mutual ambiguous friend, because y'all be calling me out my bullshit. I'm like, wow, I really be on that bullshit.
You too, friend. You too.
We're all here for it. And that's why our friendship works so well, because we are at a point where we're comfortable enough to express those things with each other, understand that, yes, I just expressed this thing to you, but that doesn't mean our friendship's over. It doesn't mean we're not going to love each other tomorrow, you know?
That's a main point.
Right. And now, mind you, finding those people are difficult. It took me how long to find you both? Out of fucking 23 years. I don't fucking know. But anyway, you know, it does take that kind of relationship, and you know, maybe you're not there with your friends yet. Maybe it does take time to build there. But
don't be going out arguing with the girl you just met in the club.
You just met, okay? Because let me tell you, because she will block you. She'll be like, "What the fuck?"
I would block you.
Okay, I don't even know
and
you.
Report
girl.
you.
Okay,
block and report.
It's over. But yeah, that would be my closing thoughts, is that arguments and disagreements are natural in all forms of relationships. You know, maybe between you and your mom, you and your father, you and your best friend, you and your sibling, you and your fucking pet. Like
everybody gonna
disagree. Me and Loki and my previous pet Baxter, we be beefing. We be
I just
fighting.
want you to know, Loki's winning.
He's winning. He's always winning. Because I can't say too mad at him. I've never been mad at that cat. He's annoyed me at times, but I've always been like, you're so fucking cute. But yeah, it's natural. Of course, respect your boundaries. Respect that person's boundaries. Everyone experiences things, life, whatever the case may be, in their own way. And then, of course, you really want to hammer down that it is not the ending of your relationship. It is not the end of the world. It may be uncomfortable. Okay. It may be unpleasant for a little bit, but depending on where you are in that relationship, depending if you care about that person, they really deep down care about you, there's always a way back. You know, if you have that deep kind of if you have that deep kind of relationship, you know, it might get a little heated. Y'all may spend some time apart, but you can come back and be stronger than ever.
Yeah.
So that's definitely where I stand on that. And also, my actual final last thought is, don't invalidate your friends' feelings or anyone's feelings. If they say what you did hurt my feelings, that's it. It doesn't care how you feel about it. It doesn't care what you did. What you did hurt their feelings, and that's the end of the conversation. You need to own up to that. You may think it's ridiculous. You may think it's dumb, but it's their feelings to have.
Own up. Yes. Be aware of what actually happened also, too.
Of course, right.
So, something can happen, and someone can say that their feelings are this, and their feelings are very much so valid. But it could also be tied to something that I did not do.
True.
So being aware of what happens and what you've done to trigger those feelings is very important as well. So, but this also comes from knowing people.
Right.
Right.
Of course, you have to know them.
So if I do something, if I say something about somebody's mom who's dead, who I've been friends with for 15 years at this point. And
it's a cuss out. It's gonna be a cuss out.
And they cuss me out. And I'm like, I've been friends with you for 15 years. Like, that's still a trigger point.
Right.
No matter how long you've known me. Now, if I do something like be too up close to your boyfriend, and I've only known you for 2 minutes, I'll buy him a candle, and I've only known him for 2 months. That's another conversation. But yes, being aware, it comes back. There is a certain level of awareness and maturity, I think, that has to happen for sure. So we are here for reconciliation. It can happen. Sometimes it doesn't need to happen, though.
Sometimes it doesn't need to happen.
Sometimes it doesn't need to
off
happen.
With that person.
You need to.
Sometimes that person's better off without you.
Woo.
Okay,
Woo.
Sometimes you're the problem. Okay,
Pop the Molly, I'm sweating.
But yeah, so
yes.
Having we had this conversation, like I said, I personally have not had any experiences with disagreements with friends recently. It was just something I thought about randomly while I was driving. Mind you, okay, I'll be completely transparent. I was driving to Chipotle today, getting that new chicken, because that new chicken is busting.
You told me that new chicken. I'm on
El Pasto. Ooh, they better keep that as a permanent menu item because it's so fucking good. But anyway, I have a whole Chipotle bowl in my refrigerator right now. I'm gonna eat after y'all leave. But anyway, now I lost my train of thought. I was thinking about fucking Chipotle too much.
You said you thought about.
Oh yeah, I've thought about it because I was on my way to Chipotle and I was like, that motherfucker really fucked up my bike. It just made me annoyed.
That nigga really fucked up.
I will never forget him.
Your Batmobile.
My Batmobile. What's going on?
Send me his information. I be watching CSI shows. I can send the information to somebody. We can just figure it out.
But yeah. So yeah, this is another episode of the Friendship University podcast. You can find us on our socials. All of them are FUNI Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Time to you. TikTok is not how shit posted on it. We're gonna figure it out.
We're gonna get there.
Keep
your grades to yourself. We're gonna be there by the end of the semester.
The semester ends in like a month. But anyway,
That's it.
But anyway, so yeah, we're on all the socials, and then you can always reach out to us at our email at friendshipuniversitypodcast.gmail.com.
Yeah.
At gmail.com. Friendshipuniversitypodcast@gmail.com. Feel free to ask us any questions, give us feedback. We always are open to feedback. If you have any suggestions, any segments you might be interested in us covering, or there are any topics you're interested in us covering. Do you just want to give us some money? You can do that. We're broke. We need coin. So yeah, thank you again for joining us. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap up?
Nah, B, I'm good.
I'll be good. Well, before we finish up, Kristen, I do expect book recommendation for next week. So go ahead and set expectations.
You have to let me get myself together.
It doesn't have to be a new book. Just give us a book. You have written probably more books than a day.
But I want to read a new book with it. When you give a book recommendation, I want us to read it together. So I'm finishing up 2 books right now. Please just give me like 2 weeks. I will be done.
We're expecting Kristen's book reviews before end of month, which is like 2 or 3 weeks from now.
What's the date? I had to look at my watch to see what the day was. Okay, yes. I'll be done with those 2 books by the end of the month, and I'll have a book recommendation, and we can read it together.
We're looking forward to it. But yeah, my name's Mickey, and we are finished up here.
All right. I'm C Money. We out.
Bye.
Bye.